fair to say that my World Cup memories are quite mixed, mostly pretty positive, but having not won it, obviously not positive enough. 86, of course, we reached the quarter-final, having recovered against Poland, comfortably beat Paraguay, and then we played against Argentina in that infamous game, of course, the hand of God, and Diego Maradona, who was quite simply the greatest footballer that played in my time, that I played against. He was just an unbelievable talent. But, you know, in that particular game, of course, the ball was cleared, it was lobbed into the box, and Diego jumped up, punched it past Pete Shilton. People say to me, well, why didn't Pete Shilton come and grab it? Well, because he didn't know he was going to push his hand up and punch it in, so he was allowing for that. He had the ball under control otherwise, so... And he got away with it. And to be perfectly honest, I was at the other end of the pitch. I had no idea. No, I was probably the only person, maybe in the ground and on the pitch, that didn't notice that Diego had scored with the hand. But it was pretty obvious immediately from the reaction of Peter Shilton and Terry Butcher running away, chasing the referee, going like this. So I sort of figured it out pretty quickly. But, you know, I've spoken to Diego about that. I did a documentary with him a few years ago, and he was pretty honest about it. He said, yeah, you know, despite that hand of God thing that he came out with after the game that quite irritated one or two of us, particularly, I mean, Bobby Robson was fuming and Terry Butcher was just punching the walls. But he got away with it. And it's like he said to me, he said, yes, I handballed it and, you know, I got away with it. But, you know, that's what we did in South America. It's, you know, we try and win. And he had a smile on his face. There's no shame, no embarrassment. And he got away with it, you know. And I blame the officials, because you should have seen that sort of thing. And I think the linesman did, and I think he bottled it. I just think it was too big an occasion. He seemed to flicker with his flag a couple of times, and I think inwardly he knew that Diego had handballed that, but he got away with it. And then, of course, after that, he scored probably the best goal that's ever been scored by an individual. Given the circumstances, given the importance of the occasion, a quarter-final of the World Cup, England against Argentina, played in the Azteca on a pitch that honestly was the worst pitch I think I'd ever played on. They'd obviously had massive problems with it, and it was just thousands of small pieces of turf that seemed just slung on a couple of days before. And every time you put your foot on the pitch, the whole piece of turf would just move away. It was diabolical. And how he scored that goal, with the intricate footwork and the turns and the twists and the beating the players, under those circumstances, it beggars belief. But he was that sort of genius. And it was the one time I felt I really probably should have applauded the opposition scoring a goal, but I refrained. I wouldn't have gone down that well. But we came back into it, and John Barnes, of course, was brilliant. Came on as sub and caused them all sorts of problems. I got one back with a header. And then, you know, famously, a couple of minutes to go, Barnes did it again. Great cross. I'm coming in, I'm 2 yards out. I'm going to score. I can see it all the way on my head. I headed it, waited to celebrate. Somewhere, from somehow, the Argentinian left back came up, hits the back of his head and spins out. To this day, I'm not quite sure how that didn't go in, but it was Maradona's day. It was Maradona's World Cup. Unbelievably talented player, right up with the all-time greats.